In this unit project on 3D prototyping of a puzzle, you guys are going to be learning how to use a CAD program, either Autodesk Inventor or SolidWorks, and you're going to learn 3D prototyping, and you're going to design a puzzle. A three-dimensional puzzle will be a 3-inch by 3-inch by 3-inch cube and have a minimum of 6 interlocking parts. So to begin with, I'm using Inventor. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to open a new standard IPT part, which is an Inventor part. We have sheet metal parts, standard DWG drawings. You can pick all these things. This is assembly right here, and we'll be doing assembly drawings later in the next video to show you how to actually assemble your parts, your puzzle parts in a digital format. And then we have this presentation parts, which is kind of cool too. We won't get to that until a later unit. But okay, to begin with, I open a standard IPT part. Down here is the status bar, and it's showing you what's going on. Okay, so I have my drawing editor. So to begin with, I'm going to just basically make some simple puzzle pieces that you saw in a little video to begin this unit. Maybe you saw some of those pieces, so I'll make one right now. So I'll go to the rectangle tool. You notice if you hover, this area up here is called the browser. I mean, this is called the ribbon. Okay, this is the browser, which will keep track of every drawing move that you make, and you'll see how powerful this can be. So in the ribbon you have several different tabs. We have a sketch tab, we have a model tab. We're going to mainly be in either a model tab or a sketch tab in this tutorial. Okay, so I have all these different little palettes up here, so I can draw lines, circle, arcs. You can fiddle around with this. I'll just demonstrate this kind of quickly. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. That's important when you start any drawing entity, that you constrain it with that green snap dot right there to the origin. So I'm going to click there, and then I'm going to drag out and make my rectangle. Okay. So I've snapped it to the origin. So I've now constrained my rectangle to the origin. Now I can set the grid size here any size I want, and I won't get into that right now. And there's really no need to do that. Really, I can go up here to the dimension command and click on that, and I can grab this and dimension it. Okay, now I can go ahead and dimension this. Now if I notice down here, I have a fully constrained sketch now, which is very important. Once you get into 3D space, you want this sketch to be fully constrained. I'm going to make all of my puzzle pieces on units of 1. So, and when you're making a 3-inch by 3-inch by 3-inch puzzle, you could have 1 by 1 pieces, or 1 by 1 by 2 pieces, or 1 by 1 by 3-inch pieces. So I'm going to start by making the height of this one. Okay, and I'm going to, if I double click on the middle mouse button, it gives me a zoom all, so I can see the whole thing. I can also scroll the middle mouse button to zoom in and out. Okay, and I want to make this a 3. Okay. So click the green check mark to accept it, double click the middle mouse button. So now I've got a sketch. Again, I look down in the status bar and I see that this is fully constrained, so this sketch is acceptable. So we will be doing the same process over and over here, so pay attention to how this works. So I've made a sketch, it's fully constrained, I go up to the ribbon and I finish the sketch. Now it will automatically take me up here is the view cube, and that little house is the home button, so it'll immediately take me to the home view. Okay, if I want to see the front, I can click on the front. If I want to rotate it by any one of these arrows, I can rotate it any way I want. I have over here a navigation wheel, which I can hold down my middle mouse button, or I can hold down my right mouse button, I should say, and rotate this any way I want. If I ever get lost, I come back up here to the home button, and I click it, and I'm back to home. So now I'm in the, if you look up here now, I'm in the model tab. Okay, so I've finished a sketch. I had a fully constrained sketch. I finished the sketch. I go to the model tab. What we will do over and over and over in this beginning episode of 3D modeling is I will extrude my object. It will default to picking that one profile that I had. If I go back here, do the back button up here, this is the one profile I have. It's also called a closed loop, which is very important. This is one loop. Okay, if it's not a closed loop, you'll have problems when you start to model. Okay, so I have to finish the sketch again. I'm in the home position. I extrude it. It automatically takes the profile that I had, and it extruded it out by default. Okay, and it just extruded it out 1 inch. Now that happens to be what I want. If it's not, I can type anything I want in this box. 6 inches, and that's crazy. I don't want 6 inches. So I can also extrude it back from the profile. I can extrude it from the center of the profile both ways, which I would suggest you do that. Okay, and I can make it asymmetric. Okay, so I want to pick this one where I extrude it both ways and click OK. So there is, I go to my free orbit tool, and there's my first 3D model. Okay, now this is actually a mathematical 3D model. You can think as if you could reach into this computer and actually grab this model out of there, and you have it in your hand. Now when we take this to a 3D prototyping machine, it will actually make this part. Okay, so that's the power of 3D prototyping, is you can design in a digital environment and get things the way you think you want them, and then actually output it to a 3D prototyping machine, and then you actually have the part in your hand to look at and to hold and to test and to see if this is really what you want. Okay, so this could be my first puzzle piece. Now that's a pretty basic, simple puzzle piece, so that's not what I want. So again, here's the process that you will go over and over and over again. Is I want to go up here and create another 2D sketch, so I can sketch some more features on this part. So I'm going to create a 2D sketch. I'm going to click on that red highlighted face. You can click on any face you want, and it'll go to a planar view, which is what you want to draw on this. You really don't want to be in the home view here, because you're not drawing in true size, so you want to be looking at a planar view of it. So I'm looking at the front. So now I'm just going to use the line command, and I want to cut a little notch out of this block. Now I would advise you, there's the green snap dot again, which means it's snapping right to the middle of this block. So I would advise you to and there's another, if you notice that we now have a dotted line that's going so I'm now in the middle of the block this way. Okay, whoops, I forgot to get the line this way, so I get that snap dot. I go up here, it's giving me an angle so I can see I'm at 90 degrees. So I click that. Now escape to get out of that command. If I look down in the status bar here again, I see I need 2 dimensions. Okay, so this is not fully constrained. So if I go up now to the model tab and try to work in the 3D environment and make this a more elaborate 3D model, I could be all messed up, because again down here it's not fully constrained. So I'd have to say, okay, well, I need this dimension. I need to know what that is right there. So that's 1.5. Okay, now if I look down here, whoops. So this is an important message to see too. If I get this little dialog box and it said adding this dimension will over constrain the sketch, you don't want to over constrain the sketch. I mean, if it's constrained, that's good enough. So if you put more than one constraint on a particular entity, that's not a good thing. So I would cancel and say, no, I don't want to do that. So what dimension do I really need? I need that dimension. I need to know that that's 1/2 inch, right? And then I need one more dimension, and I probably need to know that from here to here is 1/2 inch. Is that going to over constrain it? Yes, it will. So I'm going to cancel it. So what dimension do you think I need? I've already told you how big the block is this way. I've already told you how big the block is that way. So I think I need from this point to this point. Did I try that one? Did that over constrain it? Yes. How about this one? From here to here. That over constrains it. Okay. So from there to there, that over constrains it. So how about that one? Okay, so there you go. Now, this was a kind of a ridiculous little episode here because I knew exactly what I needed, but I wanted to show you how this whole concept of constraining, if I look down here now, it is fully constrained. What does that really mean? Fully constrained means that when I go to 3D space, no matter how I look at this object and this sketch and the features of this sketch, it can't be anything other than it is. If it's not fully constrained and you go into 3D space, it can be all kinds of different things. I mean, you have an x-axis, a y-axis, a z-axis. So right now this is a nice, tidy little 2D sketch. But when I get into a 3D environment, well, let's just do that. I go up here and I finish the sketch. Now I'm in a 3D environment. Well, if it's not fully constrained, this might not necessarily be what it appears to be. And then when I start extruding things, I'm all messed up. So again, we finished the sketch. We go up to the extrude command. It's going to now not default to a profile because I got more than one profile. I could pick this profile. And if I pick that one, it does that. Well, that's not what I want. So I could pick this profile, which is exactly what I want, but I don't want it to come out like this. So this little radio button up here is extruding it out. This button's going to cut it. Okay, so if I that's what I want to do is cut that part out. I'm going to pick that one. I can pick, go to this pull down menu and I can do all kinds of things. All, between, next to. You can play with that. I can also specify. Let's say I only want to cut this a 1/2 inch. So that's now my part. Okay. So now I go to my free orbit tool here, and there's my 3D model is getting a little bit more elaborate now, and so I have to start thinking: is this the puzzle escape to get out of a command you don't want to be in anymore? Is this really how my puzzle piece is going to work? So you have to start thinking three-dimensionally here. And these parts have to be interlocking. So how would I make it interlocking? I would go back, create a 2D sketch. Don't get down in here. I'll advise you right now into the 3D sketch. We haven't talked about this yet. So we're going to create a 2D sketch. I want it on this plane. I click on that plane. It again goes to a planar view. So I'm looking perpendicular to that surface. So what I want to do now is I want to put the little dowels like we've been doing. Now, do you notice the dotted lines that are going to tell me that I'm right in the center of that surface? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on that. This thing is acting erratically here, and okay, I'm going to click on that and put my circle in here. I'm going to show you something I shouldn't show you. This is the automatic dimension constraint tool up here. This is bad practice in the beginning to use this. but I'll use it right now just to show you. It needs 3 dimensions required, so I just apply them. It's going to put them on there for me. Done. So now I look down, and this is fully constrained. Now this is not where I want it to be. This is supposed to be a quarter, so I don't know what happened there. 0.25. So okay, I would advise you on your so we're 3/4 over, we're a quarter up, and I would advise you on your models to make all of your posts and your holes the same dimension. Well, actually, I would make the holes. Let's say we're going to make quarter-inch posts. Okay, so I would make, and we're going to cut this into a hole. Okay, so I would either make the posts or the holes about 20 thousandths oversized or undersized, depending on how you're looking at that. So I'll show you that in a minute. So my sketch is still fully constrained. I go up to the to the ribbon, and I finish the sketch. Okay, now the browser over here, this is keeping track of everything that you're doing, and this browser starts to get huge. Everything that you do on your model is in the browser. And this is a very powerful program, because at any point I can go back. You can see I'm at sketch 2. It highlights. I'm over here. I'm hovering over sketch 2. It highlights in red what sketch 2 is. If I wanted to right click and go edit this sketch, it could take me right back, and at any point I could change this, and it'll update all the features of my model. Very powerful. So I'll again go to extrude. It's going to default to what profile do I want to pick here. Do I want this profile? I mean this profile, this profile. What profile do I want? I want that one. So I could either make this a post, or I could cut it into a hole. Okay, so I'm going to cut it into a hole. Well, actually, I think I like the idea of making a post. So there's a post. Okay, so I say, and then this is the correct distance. That's what I want. So okay. Okay, so now that I could say is my first puzzle piece. Okay, now you can see you can go on and on and on with this. You could say, okay, escape to get out of that free rotate tool. I could say I want to create a 2D sketch on this surface. Okay, and I want to put, okay, now I'm going to just put like a, I don't know, I'm going to have a square, you know, post or something, that square hole that I put in here. Alright, so auto dimension shouldn't be showing you this, but I am. So applied, done. Okay, finished, fully constrained. Okay, fully constrained, finished the sketch. Okay, now I want to extrude. I want to set the operation to cut over here, and I want to select that profile. I want to cut all. Okay, so that's going to cut all the way through it. Okay, so now I've got a fairly elaborate part. Okay, now the last thing I'll show you in this first little tutorial, go back to the home view. There's all these different, when you're in the model tab up here, you're in the model tab, you've got all these different things you can fiddle with. Okay, I don't have time to show you all of this right now. It's fairly intuitive, but let's say I want a fillet, so I could set the radius of my fillets. I can do all of that. I'll just go with the default, 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to set those are okay. Those are okay size fillets. Okay, I could say, okay, I want to spiff up my puzzle. Okay, so I'm going to fillet. I'm going to fillet this thing. All right, I'll say that's good enough. So apply those fillets. Okay, so you can see how quickly and powerful this program can make a 3D model. Now again, this is a true mathematical 3D model. And if you notice where I'm clicking outside the view cube here, I mean the free rotate tool, if I click inside, what does it do? If I click outside, what does it do? So you can play with this depending on where you click. You get different kind of motions. So you can play with it. It's kind of fun stuff. If you have a 3D printer, this can be outputted. You can save this as a in a file format that can be STL stereolithography, and output it to a 3D printer and actually print this out as a prototype and then see if your puzzle actually works. So have fun with this.